Panihati Cida Dahi
I think everyone knows. No need in touch.
Dayalu does not need any introduction, but for our own purification, we just effective for people do it. So, Prabhuji has been practicing Krishna consciousness right from the very early age. And we are very fortunate because Prabhuji's mother, his Chaturanga Devi Dasi Madhuri is also there. So, Prabhuji has been cultivating so nicely. So, we cannot glorify one without speaking about others. So, yes. So now Prabhuji has been taking so many responsibilities in our official Sarjapur Center Kirtan year every week. Prabhuji has been taking multiple leads, whether it is preaching in online through multiple forums and Pratyaksha, we all know how well Mataji and Prabhuji takes care of their members. And this is one Bhakti Diksha, just so that you all learn from here. This is one Bhakti Diksha where almost all the members have got Srimad Bhagavatam installed in their house. So, one from them. And my profession, Prabhuji has been working in ISKCON for almost a decade. And Prabhuji carries almost 2 decades of experience in IT industry. And despite all these responsibilities, Prabhuji has been very instrumental in letting us reach many souls. And via him, people get affected and then we try to serve them. So let's chant once for his Dayalu Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Most of them was undeserved, but thank you once again. So today we are going to celebrate one of our very important festivals in the for a Gaudiya Vaishnava. It's called Panihati Cida Dahi festival. We'll speak about that. So we'll start with the Mangalacharan first. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manu Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhorya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giram yat kripatamaham vande Shri Tulasi Gatadam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya. Sorry, Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, Sadanand Prabhu and Kunjesh Prabhuji for giving me an opportunity. I have actually very big shoes to fill because today's class was supposed to be by His Grace Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji. So Prabhuji is a Gaur Katha expert and he speaks from realization. So I'll try my best and please forgive me if I make any mistakes. We'll start with a small prayer, okay? Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, everyone. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing about the glories of Panihati Cida Dahi festival. And this festival actually, it's a very important festival for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, you know what it's called actually? The festival of punishment, right? The festival of Danda Mahotsav, right? It's called Danda Mahotsav. So, only in Krishna consciousness, it can be like this, that a person is giving punishment to another person and everyone else celebrates, right? Nowhere else that happens. Anywhere, have you seen that a punishment is celebrated? No, right? And yes, and for understanding this, there are a lot of understandings in this specifically for Panihati Cida Dahi festival. And for that, we have to understand the life of one of a very great devotee. And that devotee is Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. So this will be an interactive question, okay? So please listen carefully. A lot of names will come and I'll keep on asking in between. So, okay, Raghunath Das Goswami, can anyone tell me who is he? Where have you heard him? Yeah, Shad Goswami, right? One of the six Goswamis. So can anyone tell me the names of the six Goswamis? Yes, Prabhuji. Hari Bol, right? So once again, let's all repeat. Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jeev Goswami, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. Right? So I don't know if you all have know about this or not, but majority of the six Goswamis, they are actually from South India. So Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Jeev Goswami. Can anyone guess where are they from? They are from Karnataka, right? They are from Karnataka, and they are actually Gaudiya Saraswat Brahmins, right? And then you have Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, you actually went there recently. From where? Srirangam, Tamil Nadu, right? And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is from Banaras, UP. So he's the son of Tapan Mishra, so Banaras. And only Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the Goswami is actually based out of Bengal, right? And we'll discuss about them more ahead. But we have to understand Raghunath Das Goswami. We have to understand the importance of the six Goswamis in our lives. So actually, it is mentioned in the Shastras, right? If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu are like moons, right? These six Goswamis are like the rays of the moons, right? So now, if you are going outside and you want to like enjoy sun like evening, right? You will enjoy it only when there is moonlight, right? It cannot be in the darkness. So similarly, we have to understand what is the function of the moon, right? When it's complete darkness, right, and there is a full moon. So what is the function of the moon? What does the moon give? Yeah, first of it is light. So similarly in our lives, right, it is completely full of ignorance, darkness. And these six Goswamis, they actually give us the light of knowledge by their different books. Like Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, even Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami have written so many books that actually bring us the knowledge, right, that light for us. What is the second function of the moon? It gives us nourishment. Yes. So nourishment, so it is given in Bhagavad Gita, right? 15.13. Extra points. Anyone can tell the shloka what is 15.13? Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, it's like Gama Vishyacha Bhutani, Dharyami Ahmojasa, Pushnami Chaushadi Sarva, Soma Bhutva Prasatmaka. So Lord Krishna, he says that I come into the moon and I give the nourishment to the fruits and vegetables. Similarly, the six Goswami, they actually give nourishment to each of us, right? Especially with their association. So now we have to understand. And the third thing, what does the moon give us? It's the coolness, right? The softness of the moon that you can feel, right? Only in moonlight, in the sunlight, if you go outside, you'll feel the harshness, right? But the moonlight is considered to be very cold, right? It gives you shitalta when we say. So similarly, we are all suffering in the three modes of material nature, and only the shastras given by the six Goswamis, they actually give us the coolness in this material world. There is no other option actually, right? And now we have to understand what is the function of these six Goswamis. So what is the majority of the function, that biggest things that the six Goswamis have done? Right, Shastras is one of them, but yeah, so establishing all this Leela Sthalis of the Lord, right, in Vrindavan. So now actually we are speaking about Raghunath Das Goswami. Actually the Radhakund and Shamkund that we see right now, that has been actually built by Raghunath Das Goswami. Right. Similarly, you can see a lot of Leela Sthalis that actually have been reinvented. It was already there. It was resurfaced or rediscovered by the six Goswamis. And secondly, like writing books. And third is preaching. So if you see, right, lot of these Goswamis, they're involved in preaching. And how do they preach? Their preaching is by their own actions. So actually, I was last time when we went to Vrindavan, right, we were talking about like Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami, it is said that everyone considered him to be his own family member, to such an extent that if a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law has a fight, they actually used to go to Sanatan Goswami to get it resolved, because they knew that he is the impartial one. He will give us a perfect judgment, and whatever he says, we accept it. right? So that is how the six Goswamis were. They were so much dear to all the Vrajvasis. They used to take care, like look at them as their own family members, and that is how they used to preach, right? By showing it by their own examples, right? And the constructing temples, if you see in Vrindavan, right, Radha Govindji, Radha Madan Mohan, a lot of these temples have been constructed by the six Goswamis, and of course the Radha Kund. So now, what is our responsibility? Our responsibility is to understand what this contribution is by the six Goswami for us. We are sitting here right now in Sarjapur center only because of their mercy, right? So when this altar opens and when we see this Guru Parampara, right, we should have that bhav. Why are we doing this? Why are we even serving this six Goswamis? If we don't understand their value, whatever we do will be mechanical, right? We are not doing it with our heart. So that is why it is very important for us to know each and every acharya that are there in the altar, right? Okay, so now we'll start with the beautiful story of Raghunath Das Goswami. So who was Raghunath Das Goswami? Raghunath Das Goswami was basically a son of a very wealthy person. The father's name was Govardhan Mujumdar, right? And they were so rich that at that time they used to collect, they were actually tax collectors. Okay, so they used to collect tax to the amount of 20 lakh gold coins. Okay, I am talking about gold coins here. And they used to give the government 15 lakh gold coins, and their own income was 5 lakh gold coins. Think about it, at that time 5 lakh gold coins was their income. And then, yeah, so now the question will come, right? So if a person is so rich, right, how can that person become such a big Goswami, right? How can he become detached, right? How can he become such a big devotee? It is very difficult in this current situation. If you see, if you are very rich, right, if you have too much of something, it is very difficult to do devotional service. Everyone might have experienced that, right? But how did Raghunath Das Goswami become such a big devotee? So now that actually it's given in the Shastras again, Raghunath Das became such a big devotee. The Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami became such a big devotee because of the association of exalted devotees. So one of them was actually their Kulguru. So their Kulguru was Yadunandan Acharya. Right? Yadunandan Acharya was a disciple of Advaita Acharya. Anyone knows who is Advaita Acharya? Who is Advaita Acharya? We Panchatattva, right? We chant. While chanting, we actually take Advaita Acharya's name and start the chanting. Right? Advaita Acharya was their the guru of their Kulguru. So Yadunandan Acharya and his guru was Advaita Acharya. And one interesting thing about Advaita Acharya I would like to share. So nowadays we chant how many rounds? What is the prescribed minimum that we have to chant? 16, right? But Advaita Acharya during that time, at least it was 64 rounds, right? Everyone had to chant 64 rounds. And that is still okay. Okay, we are chanting 64 rounds. Okay, we have the whole day. But it was not like that. The disciples of Advaita Acharya, what Advaita Acharya used to do, he used to tie their shikha to a pole. Right? There are 4 disciples who are sitting, all their shikhas are tied to the pole, and till you don't finish your 64 rounds, you are not allowed to leave. Only when you finish your 64 rounds, you are allowed, your shikha will be untied from the pole, and then Advaita Acharya will give you prasadam, right? To have. So how many of you all would like to take initiation from Advaita Acharya? I know it is difficult right now. We say, अरे 60 rounds करने में इतना मुश्किल पड़ता है, पूरा दिन लग जाता है, कितना ये हो जाता है, right? But that is how Yadunandan Acharya was the Kul Guru of the family of Raghunath Das Goswami. And also, Yadunandan Acharya was also very close to Vasudev Datta. So now Vasudev Datta, if you might have heard, the name actually comes in God Leela Lord. So Vasudev Datta was very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, Vasudev Datta, he was so merciful, he was so kind that he used to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, you do one thing. You give all the sins of all the people of this world, right? You give it to me. I am ready to suffer. You take everyone back home, back to God. Right? So that was the mercy of Vasudev Datta. And not only that, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? It is mentioned in 15.165. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself tells that you are the avatar of Prahlad Maharaj to Vasudev Datta, right? So this is how glorious actually His Kulguru is. Okay, now that is only one connection. Let's see about the second connection of Raghunath Das Goswami. So now this was Kulguru. Then they have one more Guru. So Kulguru is basically the one who takes care of the deities, right? Taking care of. And one is Guru, from whom you take instructions, right? Direct instructions. And that Guru was Balram Acharya. And Balram Acharya was a very close associate and friend of Srila Haridas Thakur. So you all know Haridas Thakur, right? What is he known for? Namacharya, chanting 192 rounds or 3 lakh names every day, right? So that is the association that Raghunath Das Goswami had since childhood. And since they were very close, right? Balram Acharya used to take Raghunath Das Goswami to the place where Haridas Thakur used to chant. So we'll discuss a little bit about Haridas Thakur also. So Haridas Thakur, you know where he used to chant? In the caves. Okay, he used to chant in the caves. Not only that caves used to be filled of snakes, right? Someone would ask, right, why would you take so much trouble, go into a cave filled with snakes and chant there? So Haridas Thakur used to say that I don't like to get disturbed while chanting. Okay, and if I come outside, right, people some or the other will disturb me. So that's the best place for me to go and chant inside that cave. And then Haridas Thakur also, you know the exalted position of Haridas Thakur, right? Actually, Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, right? But he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. And because of that, he got whipped in 22 markets, right? We are not going to go in depth on that, but if you all don't know, he got actually whipped in 22 markets, right? Because he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he did not have any problem. Okay, so he was chanting the holy name of the Lord and he was very happy. But the people who were actually whipping him, they got very tired and they started talking among each other. If this person doesn't die, the king will actually kill me. So now listening to this, right, Haridas Thakur, he was so merciful. He said that you tell me what you want and I'll do it. And then they say that better you die, right? You die and then we'll be saved. So he just, at that point itself, he kind of stopped breathing, right? He's dead. And then what happened was these soldiers, right, who were whipping him. So they were actually in a little bit of dilemma. What to do? We cannot burn him, right? Since he was born in a Muslim family, right? We cannot burn him. The Hindus will object, right? We cannot even bury him because the Muslims will object because he is a Muslim but he's chanting the holy names of the Lord. So let's do one thing. Let's put him in Ganga. Right? Let's just throw him in Ganga and we'll be free. And then when they throw him in the Ganga, right, actually Haridas Thakur, he actually floats in the water. He comes to the other side of Ganga and then he suddenly wakes up and starts chanting. Continue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So that is the glories of Srila Haridas Thakur. And actually people actually asked him, so, okay, cave is still fine. Why cave filled with snakes? Right? That's a logical question. Why filled with snakes? So his explanation was, see, the people in this world are so envious, right? If a snake bites me, it will be one-time thing. Finish. After I get bit, I'm dead. It's over. But if I come outside, these envious people, they'll keep on biting me and I won't even die. So this envy will keep on transferring unto me. So that's why it's better I associate with the snakes than the worldly kind of people, right? That was the glory of Srila Haridas Thakur. And one more thing actually, so Srila Haridas Thakur, he never used to go for Madhukari, right? He used to never go out for Bhiksha, anything. So if someone comes and gives him in the cave, something in the cave, he will accept it. Otherwise, he will stay hungry. This is very surprising, right? Means how can a person do this? And it's so now there is an example. Actually, there is a Chandrasekhar Baba in Vrindavan, right? He was from the Kumar Sampradaya, Nimbarka Sampradaya, basically. So there is an example. This was not happening only in those times, 500 years ago. It was still happening. It's still happening now. So this Chandrasekhar Baba, what the example was given was that he also used to in Govardhan, right? There are a lot of caves. So what we do the parikrama, right? We actually do it from outside. We don't really step on Govardhan. But within Govardhan, there are a lot of caves. So this Chandrasekhar Baba, he used to stay in one of those caves and he didn't have anything, right? He used to go outside for Madhukari, accept whatever he gets and then he used to have. He didn't have any clothes also. He had one cowpea. That's it, right? And but after some time, what happened that even that cowpea got torn away, right? It got old, so the threads came out and it started tearing off. So now that Chandrasekhar Baba, he was thinking that what to do. I cannot go outside like naked, right? So I better I will not go outside. I'll just sit here only. And then 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day. The fifth day, there was one devotee who came actually with lot of fruits and all the madhu, right? He got one cowpea also. And then Chandrasekhar Baba, he was asking that person that how come you know? I never went out, right? I never told anyone. How come you came to know that I need these things? So that devotee says, actually in our village there was one small Kishori, a little girl in Vrindavan, it's called Lali, right? She came and she told us that there is one Baba sitting in this one of the scales, and he does not have anything, any food or any clothes, right? I am getting you this. You please go and give it to him. That is the glories of being in Vrindavan, right? Radharani will herself come and help, right? So this is happening even now. So what to talk about 500 years back, right? So yeah, so now back to Raghunath Das Goswami, right? So Raghunath Das Goswami, he used to associate with Srila Haridas Thakur also. And when he was a kid, right, it's always nice that kids like to imitate certain devotees. If you sit around certain devotees for a long time, right, then the kids would like to imitate. So Raghunath Das Goswami also used to imitate like Haridas Thakur, and the parents really liked it. The problem is the parents like it only when the kid is a kid. Once he starts growing up, right, all the parents start getting tension. अरे इतना माला कैसे कर रहा है? अरे धोती कुर्ता में आ गया, कंठी पहन रहा है, अरे कैसे होएगा? ये तो मतलब सब कुछ छोड़ देगा, ना? That's what people start thinking. So this is what happened actually. Raghunath Das Goswami, he got direct association of Haridas Thakur. He got association of Yadunandan Acharya. He used to chant 128 rounds, not 64. He used to chant 128 rounds every day. So Raghunath Das Goswami got the association of such exalted devotees since right from childhood, right? So eventually what happened, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, he took sannyas in Katwa, right? And you all know the story that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, right? But Nityanand Prabhu, he cheated him, right? He broke his danda, right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Shantipur. Who stays in Shantipur? Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya's hometown is Shantipur. So he was staying at Advaita Acharya's place. So now what happened was Haridas Thakur, he told Raghunath Das Goswami was a small boy at that time. So he told Raghunath Das Goswami, why don't you come? Let's take the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now we have got a very good opportunity. Let's take darshan. And the parents were also okay, since it's a boy, it's okay, let him go. So Raghunath Das Goswami came with Haridas Thakur, took the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personal association, right, for 10 days. So what service did he do? He was actually serving the Lord directly, like Paroste na, Prasad Parosna, that directly he was serving the Lord. And when the Lord slept, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu slept, he used to massage his feet, right? And he used to wash all the vessels of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all the small services, right? Menial services when you say. So all those services, Raghunath Das Goswami was doing for 10 days. Now after the end of 10 days, right? Raghunath Das Goswami said, now I want to be with you. I don't want to go back home, back to my parents. So now at this point, right, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you are very young. You go back home. Let's see after a few years, we will discuss once again. Right? So now he comes back at home. But now once you have got the association of the Lord himself, right, you will always have that feeling inside the heart that nothing else will actually matter. You will not get taste in anything else. Right? So Raghunath Das Goswami, what happened was once he came back home, he was feeling that intense separation from the Lord that he started running away from the home. That he started, like next day itself, he ran away from the home to find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, their father of Raghunath Das Goswami was, what's the name? Govardhan Mujumdar, right? So Govardhan Mujumdar, he was such a rich person, right? So he sent out all the people, right? Find Raghunath Das Goswami and get him back. So all these people, right? All this, the servants and all, they found out Raghunath Das Goswami. They got him back and they kept him at home. Now again, the next day, same thing happened, right? Next day, again he ran away. So again, they sent all the people, all the servants everywhere, and they caught him back, right? And the third day again same thing happened. So it kept on going again and again. So now Govardhan Mujumdar, right, his father, they kept a permanent, how do you say, watchman for Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, that he does not run away. So they used to follow him everywhere. Even if he goes to bathroom, he goes to anywhere, there will be a few servants who will be keeping an eye on him, right? So now Raghunath Das Goswami, he says that, see, I actually want to associate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's my heart's desire. So then the parents say, no, you cannot go there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Jagannath Puri, so you cannot go there. But if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes back here to Shantipur, we give you the permission. You can go and meet him. So the same thing happens. So next time again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Shantipur, and Raghunath Das Goswami goes and tells his parent, oh, okay, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. I want to go and visit him. So then the parents said, they gave the condition. They said, you have to take all the people along with you, the servants, and you have to come back home after you meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so that is a condition. So what Raghunath Das Goswami thought, that anyways I am taking all these people, they will hear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they'll hear his kirtan and everything, then they will all become devotees and I'll be able to run away from there. But that did not happen. So he took all of them and came to Shantipur once again. So and this time again he did service for 10 days to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then at the end of 10 days again, he was telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, I want to come with you. I want to be your personal associate. I want to be with you forever. This time again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that no, you cannot come with me. Don't do Markat Vairagya. So this is the word actually he said. Don't do Markat Vairagya. Actually at that point of time, Raghunath Das Goswami had got married also, and he had a wife. You generally see, right? If the parents actually do that, if the child keeps on running away, right, they'll say, oh, once he gets married, he will get settled. He will not run away once again. Right? So the parents had got him married. But again, that Raghunath Das Goswami still had that heart's desire that I want to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now the word Markat Vairagya. So what does this word mean, Markat Vairagya? Basically, Markat is monkey, right? So monkey, when you see, right, he will look like a very big Vairagi. He does not have any clothes. He does not have any house. He sits on a tree, right? He eats whatever he gets, right? He might seem like a Vairagi from outside, but inside his heart, he is always looking for sense gratification. That is how the monkey is. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. See, Vairagya should not be from outside. It should be from inside your heart. So that was the example, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you go back home. You cannot come with me. Now once he comes back, the parents are very happy. Oh, he came back after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first time when he met, he was not coming back actually. So they are very happy, and they are actually okay. But Raghunath Das Goswami, right, he was always wondering, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not accept me? Right? There is some problem with me. What is that problem? Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not accepting me? So the next time what happened was, now Srila Nityanand Prabhu came. So this is where the Panihati Cida Dahi festival actually comes in. It actually is part of the Antya Leela 16.43. It starts from there. So Sri Nityanand Prabhu has come to the Panihati. Panihati is a place near West Bengal. So Sri Nityanand Prabhu has come there, and he is sitting with all his associates. He is sitting under a banyan tree on a rock, and he is giving class. He is talking with all his associates. And the moment Raghunath Das Goswami comes to know that Sri Nityanand Prabhu has come, he immediately gets ready, takes all his servants, everything, and he goes to that place. And Nityanand Prabhu is giving a class. So what happened was, the moment Raghunath Das Goswami came in, right, he was still standing a bit far, right, and from there only he offered obeisances. But he did not come close to Nityanand Prabhu. And Nityanand Prabhu didn't notice. So one of his servants, Nityanand Prabhu's servants, and he came and told, see, Govardhan Mujumdar's son, Raghunath Das Goswami has come. So when he hears that Raghunath Das Goswami has come, right, he'll see, oh, where is catch hold of that thief, get him here. He starts shouting, catch hold of that thief, bring him here. That person is a thief. So now everyone was kind of shocked. Govardhan Mujumdar's son was kind of the Crorepati, and he's a thief, right? But all the devotees understood what the meaning was. So anyone can guess why Nityananda Prabhu called Raghunath Das Goswami a thief? Okay, but there is some internal meaning also. There is one. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Exactly, right? See, it is given that the Lord is the wealth of the devotees, right? No one can directly approach the Lord. You have to approach him through their devotees, through the Guru. That is the only way to approach the Lord. So that's what Sri Nityananda Prabhu is saying, that you tried to steal my wealth, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my wealth. How are you? How are you taking? Right? You are a thief. So you come to me here. You come down. Now I am going to give you punishment. So now Raghunath Das Goswami, he's still okay. He was saying, okay, Nityanand Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, you tell me punishment you are going to give, right? So I punish you to feed all the devotees that are sitting here. So that was the punishment. That was the punishment that Nityanand Prabhu gave. So we have to understand here. See, feeding of the devotees is considered to be one of the most auspicious, most transcendental, and most loving service. It's mentioned everywhere. You even see, right, in the Nectar of Instruction, the fourth shloka, it again says, right, Dadati Pratigranati, Guhyam Akyati Prichati, Bhumte Bhojayati Cheva. Right? It's like accepting prasadam and giving prasadam to the devotees. And also, it's actually mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita again. So during the Gundicha Mandir Marjan, right, that is one day before the Rath Yatra, right, we have Gundicha Mandir Marjan. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to keep a competition. The competition used to be whoever collects the most dust while cleaning Gundicha temple, right, he is going to be the winner. So everybody used to sweep nicely so that they can collect as much as possible kachara right, from the temple. They can remove from that temple. And what was the prize for that winner? The prize for that winner was he gets an opportunity to feed all the devotees. So that was the prize of the being like close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is what actually Sri Nityananda Prabhu asked Raghunath Das Goswami to do. So now Raghunath Das Goswami is a very rich person, right? So now the second question is, okay, what do you want me to feed? Of course, you tell me what should I feed to all the devotees? So then Sri Nityananda Prabhu says, you feed poha, chipped rice, and dahi. So now actually this question comes, right? Poha, why poha? It means poha, like after Sudama gave poha to Lord Krishna, right? That poha's value had become very down. In the sense that people who don't have anything, they will give poha to the Lord, right? That is how it had become. But we have to understand that, see, feeding prasadam to the devotees is more about what we want to serve. How do we want to serve? It's not what we are feeding, it's how we are feeding the devotees, right? Sometimes a lot of times it happens, right? I don't know, Prabhuji might know, in the center also it might happen. Sometimes people come and say, today I am sponsoring prasadam, right? The bhav is not that I am going to feed all the devotees. The bhav is I am sponsoring the prasadam. It better be good, right? You cannot serve just khichdi or poha to anyone, right? At least puri should be there or gulab jamun should be there. The goal of that is what? Once the people will eat that food, right? It's not like they will say, oh, very nice prasadam. अरे आज आइटम ज्यादा था, किसने स्पॉन्सर किया था प्रसाद? किसने तो स्पॉन्सर किया रहेगा. So this is how it happens for us all of us in material world, right? We actually try to find this ego everywhere, right? Even in devotional service we try to find this ego, where we get this ego boost. So now what happened was, that's why actually Nityananda Prabhu was actually trying to burst that bubble as well, right? There should be no ego. You feed everyone poha, chipped rice, and dahi. So now what happens? Okay, so Nityananda Prabhu, he gives some order. He says that, okay, everyone should get 2 pots. One pot with poha, dahi, and banana. And the second pot will be poha, milk, camphor, and sweet. So these 2 pots, everyone should get. Each person should get 2 pots. So now once Raghunath Das Goswami heard this, he became very happy. Yes, I get to serve all the devotees, right? So now he told his servants, you go and buy poha, dahi, fruits from everywhere. So everyone started buying it from the shops from across the villages, right, around these villages. Now the funny thing that what happened there was, see, Nityananda Prabhu, when he was giving the class, right, there were few people. The moment they heard that there is prasadam there, people started coming from different villages, right? They're like, it happens even now, right? That is the kind of parampara that we are having. that during lecture there might be certain set of people, kirtan there is, but prasadam the hall will be full. Right? So that is how actually it is not like a new thing. It was happening during Nityanand Prabhu's time also. So this is what happened. So now once the news spread that Nityanand Prabhu, he is actually celebrating this Cida Dahi festival and he's calling all the devotees for prasadam. People from far villages, right? Gauridas Pandit, then Udharan Thakur, all the devotees, they started coming with their disciples, right? So there were so many people at that place that you'll be surprised that there was no place to sit. Okay, so now everyone getting two pots, one with the dahi and poha, one with milk and poha, and there was no place to sit for anyone, no place at all. So now the people who are still coming in, right? What they did was, okay, there is no place. Let's go and sit on the tree, right? Now you see that all the trees are also full, right? People are sitting on the trees. Now more people came. They're like, there is no place where to go. They started going inside Ganga, right? They're literally floating on Ganga and they're eating prasadam, right? So now this is what the scenery was, that devotees everywhere, people coming to the Panihati and right? And like accepting this prasadam. So at all this, when it was happening, Nityanand Prabhu, he actually invited, oh actually I missed one more point. So what happened was, before this Raghunath Das Goswami came, right? So Nityanand Prabhu had told one devotee, his name was Raghav Pandit, right? So this devotee, he told, you do one thing, you go home and cook prasadam for me. This was before the all Cida Dahi happened, right? So he had told him, you go and cook prasadam for me. And the glories of Raghav Pandit was, whatever he used to cook, right, used to be tasted by Radharani herself. So whenever he used to cook something, right, he used to sit after like the cooking is done, he used to sit and meditate on Srimati Radharani. And Radharani used to come and used to taste one item, and she used to say, "Arey, isme thoda namak kam hai, thoda namak dalo, isme thoda masala kam hai, masala mix karo." That's why he was the expert cook, right? So this is what happened, and he told Nityanand Prabhu told Raghav Pandit, you go and cook. And after that, all these things happened, right? And at this point, what's happening is Nityanand Prabhu, he actually invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you come. And nobody else could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri at this point of time. Nobody else could see. But Nityanand Prabhu could see, right? Nityanand Prabhu, he actually held his hand and he took him everywhere. People are sitting here. See, people are sitting on the trees also. See, people are sitting on the water. So everywhere people are sitting. And both were laughing. And Nityanand Prabhu was feeding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding Nityanand Prabhu. And all this for people outside, right? They were wondering, why is Nityanand Prabhu talking to himself? But the close devotees of Nityanand Prabhu, they could understand that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. Actually, it is said again in one of the Shastras, I think Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that 4 places Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will always be there. What are those 4 places? Where Shachi Mata cooks. Okay? Shachi Mata cooks, where Raghav Pandit cooks. Right? 3rd is where Srivas Pandit sings. Right? That is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always be there. And 4th is where? Yeah, where Nityanand Prabhu dances, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to be there. So this is what happened. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always there wherever Nityanand Prabhu is there. And Nityanand Prabhu, he was nicely feeding him, right? Feeding him prasadam, the chipped rice and curd and the milk. Okay, so now what happened is, all this happened, right? And now in the end, Nityanand Prabhu, he was actually went back to, in the evening, he went to Raghav Pandit's home. Raghav Pandit, by the way, when he came out, he was completely shocked. He was like, while going in, there were so many people. While I'm coming out, there are people everywhere, even on the trees, right? What is happening? And he was smiling and he was telling Nityanand Prabhu, Prabhu, you asked me to cook prasadam, right? 54 items I have cooked, and you are having nice feast here, right? So when Nityanand Prabhu, he said, no. See, actually, I am a coward boy, right? So I like to sit near the open area. I like to sit in the open area, have food with everyone. But don't worry, I am coming in the evening to your place. I will have their prasadam there also, right? But for now, you also come and sit with me. And then he got 2 pots for Raghav Pandit also, and he fed him also, right? Nicely. So now all this happened, right? And in the evening, Nityanand Prabhu, he actually goes to Raghav Pandit's home, like accepts prasadam there. They have a nice kirtan, right? They have nice festival in the evening at Raghav Pandit's house. Now, after that, when Nityanand Prabhu takes rest, Raghunath Das Goswami, he comes and he massages his feet, right? Not only that, right? He washes all his vessels, right? He takes the remnants from the prasadam of all the devotees who had come there, right? So now, when Nityanand Prabhu he wakes up, right? He sees Raghunath Das Goswami doing all these things. So he becomes very pleased. He calls Raghunath Das Goswami, and he keeps his feet over his head. See, you have to understand this. For a devotee, right, Nityanand Prabhu is the only way to achieve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no other way. You have to please Nityanand Prabhu, and everyone is running behind getting the mercy of the lotus feet of Nityanand Prabhu. And they don't, no, people don't get it easily. But Raghunath Das Goswami got an opportunity to get those lotus feet on his head. Right? And not only that, he asked him, what do you want? So he said that I want to associate with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Nityanand Prabhu, he says, now if you go, right, you will get association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And not only that, Nityanand Prabhu, he woke up all the other devotees also. Please bless him. Right? You please bless him there so that he gets mercy of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all the devotees, they actually get up, they bless Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami becomes very happy that, see, I got the blessings of so many devotees. Actually, one thing about prasadam, it is given that why feeding of prasadam is actually given so much importance. It is because you get the mercy of so many devotees. Right? It's the easiest way to get the mercy of so many devotees, right, in one shot. So that is why actually given, like feeding prasadam to devotees, it is actually given so much importance. And one more thing it is given, that once a person feeds prasadam, right, it's along with the prasadam, right, he is giving you a little bit of his karma also, right? So for that, actually, it is told that along with feeding prasadam, when you meet with devotees, you actually give some dan also, right? Some donation also you are supposed to give to the senior devotees. I'm not telling about if you are going to feed us, you have to give donation, okay? So it's like whenever you call senior devotees at home, right? That is the etiquette of devotees. When you feed prasadam, you have to give some donations also. And why you give donation? It's because the karma that you have actually shared, right? It's like there has to balance off. You have to give some dakshina so that it kind of doesn't really, but it kind of literally balances off, right? So that's why. So Raghunath Das Goswami at the end of this festival, right? He gave 100 gold coins to Sri Nityanand Prabhu's servant, basically. And he told them, you don't tell him right now. Once you go, right, then you tell him. Once you go back, then you tell him. And also, they gave gold. Raghunath Das Goswami gave gold. So actually, it is given. There is a big list of devotees. I forgot who actually made that list. So it's a list that is created, and they actually gave to Raghunath Das Goswami, and they say that you give this much donation to each of these devotees. That's what Raghunath Das Goswami he gives. So now. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, he meets Nityanand Prabhu, right? Nityanand Prabhu is saying that now you will get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Jagannath Puri. So now Raghunath Das Goswami he becomes excited. So if I am going to get mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can I run from here only? Can I go directly to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So no, you cannot go now. You go back home right now. And then very soon you will get that complete mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, okay, he says that, and then he comes back home. So now the parents are very happy. Oh, finally, again, he came back home. Okay, there is at least he is doing this, right? But there is still that desire in the heart of Raghunath Das Goswami. So what happens in the night? Yadunandan Acharya. You remember who is the Yadunandan Acharya? Kulguru of the family of Raghunath Das Goswami, right? He comes to their home and he says that, actually, I have to urgently go somewhere, right? So I want someone to take care of the deities at my home. So now Raghunath Das Goswami immediately says, I'll take care of this of the deities. And at this point of time, the parents also, they didn't have any doubt. Agar bhagna hi hota, so he would have run from Panihati, right? He came back. So we don't think he's going to run again. So they don't send anyone along with him, right? They just send him, oh, you, मतलब भगवान को जल्दी से आप ये कर लीजिए, उनका सेवा करके आ जाइए वापस, come back. So now for the deity service, right, he has to get out of the house. So the moment he goes out of the house, right, he actually sees back, oh, nobody is there. This is the opportunity for me to run. So he actually runs away from that, right? And he runs in such a way that it's actually given that he runs for, so now already Govardhan Majumdar, they have caught hold of him few times, right? Raghunath Das Goswami. So once he runs halfway, right, he understands that, see, my father, once he wakes up, right, he will send people and they will catch me again. So I should not take the regular path, right? I should take a different path. Okay. So he starts running inside the forest, over the hills, climbing down. So he takes the long route out, long route around, right? And then he does not see such a determination, right? You have to understand he does not have any money, right? He does not have any pair of clothes. He's just running. His only goal is to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's running, right? And he's running, and regularly in normal circumstance, if it takes a normal path, right, it takes 4 to 5 days, but it took him 15 days to reach Jagannath Puri, right? And he's falling down, he's getting injured, his clothes are torn, right? So at this point, once he reaches, and he does not even have food, right? Okay, he gets bhiksha. So it's given actually in 15 days, he eats only 3 times, right? He has only prasad 3 times, and he just keeps on running with only single goal that I want to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he reaches Jagannath Puri, right? And he reaches Jagannath Puri, and then he immediately goes to Gambira. So he knew that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Gambira. And he goes there and he falls down straight away, complete Dandavat in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is surprised. Oh, he actually is like, who has come? Okay. So then he sees that Raghunath Das Goswami, your clothes are torn, he's injured everywhere, right? And but finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his heart, now he says, you finally made it, right? And now this is the time when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts Raghunath Das Goswami in his service. So we have to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not accepting last 2 times when he met Raghunath Das Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not ready to accept, but only by the mercy of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, he was ready to accept now Raghunath Das Goswami. Now this point of time, right? Let's go back to again the story. He ran away from the house. Now the parents wake up, Govardhan Majumdar, and they wake up. They figure out, oh, the son has ran away again. Right. So now, actually, like we have trips here, right? And one organizer is there. Similarly, there is a devotee called Shivananda Sen. He used to make all this travel arrangement for the devotees who used to travel from their place to Jagannath Puri. Right. So he was like the main person who used to travel, like make arrangements for all the devotees. So immediately, Govind Majumdar sends a letter to Shivananda Sen that, have you seen? Is definitely my son has gone to Jagannath Puri. He won't go anywhere else. He has to go to Jagannath Puri. So have you seen him? Is he there in your group? So Shivananda Sen says, no, he is not here. So now he sends his servants also to find out. But the servants also go there and come back. They are not able to find Raghunath Das Goswami anywhere. And they come back again. So at this point, this loop is closed. So now Raghunath Das Goswami, he goes there and he takes this personal service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually he gives the, he makes Swarup Damodar, actually his Shiksha Guru. So actually, at that point of time, there were 3 Raghunaths in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's group, actually. So Raghunath Das Goswami used to be called as Swarup Raghunath. So Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that Swarup Damodar will be Shiksha Guru. You please take instructions from him. So that is your only instruction right now. You take services from him and you do service to him. So now what happened was, so now every day he took bath. Now every day that became a routine. He is nicely taking bath, and what's the name? Swarup Damodar. Right? Swarup Damodar Prabhu, he used to get him nice plate of prasadam, right? And he used to feed him. And he used to nicely chant. But then Raghunath Das Goswami started feeling that, have I come here to give service or take service? Right? There's something wrong. So I should not be eating prasadam here. So immediately he runs away from there, from Swarup Damodar's place, right? And where does he go? He goes and sits outside Jagannath Puri temple, right? So what happens is, during this outside Jagannath Puri temples, there are like beggars who are sitting, right? And this brahmanas, after they have extra prasadam, right? The bhogas that are offered to Jagannath, they give it to these people, right? The beggars, they distribute it. And Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, he used to go and sit there, right? He used to accept prasadam only from there, because he had this thing, I don't want to get served, right? I don't want that kind of thing. And he used to have, so now Swarup Damodar, he goes and finds out who actually is sitting there and having prasadam. He does not interrupt, but he is there. So now what happens is Shivananda Sen, who actually got that tour, right, from that Shantikram, right? So yeah, so once he comes to know that Raghunath Das Goswami is sitting there, right? He immediately writes a letter to Govardhan Mujumdar. He says that your son, I found him. He's sitting outside the temple. He's begging actually. So now Govardhan Mujumdar, he is like, oh, my son is begging. Son of a Karodpati is begging. Right? Okay, I'll send. So he sends lot of servants, right? Lot of servants, lot of money, gold coins he sends, right? And he sends it to Raghunath Das Goswami. So all these servants, when they come, right, to this place, they say, they find Raghunath Das Goswami sitting outside the temple begging. Right? They come, sir, please, we have come to serve you. We'll cook you something, right? You don't have to beg here. So Raghunath Das Goswami at this point, he shoos them away. Why are you come here? Get out from here. I don't want you here. You want you all here. But then he say, oh, my father has sent money also. You do one thing, you give me that money. And what does he do with that money, you know? He gives that money to Swarup Damodar. And he tells Swarup Damodar that, see, I want to arrange a feast for all the devotees on every Dwadashi. Right? So on every Dwadashi, that feast was arranged by Raghunath Das Goswami, but he was not part of the feast. Where he used to sit? He used to still sit outside Jagannath Puri and he used to beg for that prasadam. Right? So that is the renunciation of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Actually, we have more stories. I'll add one more and then probably we'll pause. So now Raghunath Das Goswami, right, after some time, right, he stopped taking prasadam from there also. Right? He disappeared from there. And what he used to do, he used to take prasadam from places where they used to give it free, right? Free. If you go to Vrindavan during Kartik, at least I have seen in Kartik, there are a lot of stalls there. People give free prasadam, right? So he started taking only prasadam from there. And then after that little point of time, right, he stopped taking prasadam from there also. What he used to do? He used to take prasadam from place where all these free stalls, they used to throw it away. Okay. And they throw it away in the garbage. And in the garbage, from that garbage, the cows used to eat it. And then those rice that even the cows would not eat, right? Because there would be a little smell on that rice, right? After some time. So even the cows that they used to eat it, what Raghunath Das Goswami used to do, he used to take that rice, he used to wash it, and then he also made sure that nobody noticed. Okay. So actually for us, right, even if we do one Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi, we'll make sure that at least 10 people know that I have done Nirjal Ekadashi. Right? But then Raghunath Das, look at the behavior of Raghunath Das Goswami. He made sure that no one notices that I am taking rice, and he used to accept it. But at that point of time, Swarup Damodar also asked that why did you stop sitting outside the temple? There also used to get prasadam, right? So at that point of time, Raghunath Das Goswami explained, see, when I was sitting outside the temple, right, I got that judgmental mentality. So whenever a Brahmana used to come out, right, I used to start thinking, oh, this guy looks rich. Probably he will give me prasadam, right? He'll give me nice prasadam. Oh, this person is poor, he might not give. So that judgmental mentality was coming for me, so I stopped going there. So I didn't want this judgmental mentality. So that's why he started having prasadam like this. So now, after so many days, right, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking, hey, where is Raghunath Das Goswami? I haven't seen him for quite some days. So Swarup Damodar, he says, you come, I'll show you where he is. So he shows him, they quietly hide behind a tree and they're seeing what he's doing. So they see that Sri Raghunath Das Goswami is he's taking out the prasadam from that garbage, he's washing it and eating. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes and holds his hand, like, what are you doing? You're having such like nice, tasty prasadam and you are having it alone. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes the rice from his hand and he accepts it. He has it. Now Raghunath Das Goswami is crying. Right? Hey, what are you doing? This prasadam was not meant for you. This is meant for me. So this is what the Raghunath Das Goswami, the determination, the renunciation, the detachment of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, it was exemplary. Right? We have to understand this, because only when we know about such great acharyas, right, that is when we'll have that, how do you say, that desire to serve. Right? Otherwise, it is very difficult. In fact, I'll tell you one more story actually. So once, at the end of the Leela, right, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave Raghunath Das Goswami. So actually, Raghunath Das Goswami served Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 16 years. in Jagannath Puri, 16 years. And at the end, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was so pleased, he gave him a Govardhan Shila and Gunja Mala. You might have heard, right? Gunja. So that red, yellow, and black, the kind of pearls, right? Not pearls, actually it's like beads. So that mala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave it to Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went back to the Goloka, right? So Raghunath Das Goswami, he was having so much intense separation, right? That he decided that I'll go to Vrindavan, I'll climb up the Govardhan and I'll commit suicide. I'll just jump, right? So once he comes to Vrindavan, right, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they catch hold of him. They said, no. See, you have to understand what is the instruction that has been given to you by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is what you have to follow. See, you are the only person who has associated with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 16 years. Even Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami did not get that opportunity. So you have to do Gaur Katha. Right? That is your service. So every day, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami used to conduct Gaur Katha for 3 hours. Right? He used to conduct this Gaur Katha for 3 hours every day. And who used to sit in the Gaur Katha? Can you all imagine? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the actual author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he used to sit in the lecture of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and that's where actually we got this. So basically, Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was actually 95 years at that point of time, and all the notes that he made, that actually came to us as Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, right, so Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, he stopped eating that prasadam also that he used to get from that garbage this thing, right? He stopped having that also. So now what he used to have? He used to have this small dona, right? Dona, 100 ml dona. He used to have that much buttermilk. That's it. And that too, not every day. Once in 3 days. Right? And that, after that, once Sanatana Goswami left back to the abode, he stopped even having that. He used to just have water. And when Rupa Goswami went, right, he even stopped having water. He just used to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. And there is one small pastime associated with Raghunath Das Goswami. So what happened was, so Raghunath Das Goswami, he got a stomachache one day. He had a bad stomachache. So now that doctor, right, Ayurvedic doctors, they called the Ayurvedic, all the devotees, they called the Ayurvedic doctors. Right? And Ayurvedic doctors, even now you might have seen, they actually check the nadi. They check the veins, like nerves, right? Then they will say what is the problem. So now once the doctor checks, right, he says, this person is suffering from overeating. He's like, overeating. So everybody around him, right? He's like, overeating. This person does not even eat he eats little bit, like buttermilk in 3 days, and he is suffering from overeating. And then the doctor even says that this person had lot of sweet rice. Right? That's why he's getting stomachache. And everyone was shocked. Right? How is this possible? Right? He is overeating when we are actually seeing he's not eating. So one devotee, he goes and asks Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, see, the doctor is saying that you have overeaten. Have you overeaten? Raghunath Das Goswami says, yes, I have overeaten. Like, what? When? Who made you that sweet rice? How is this possible? So actually Raghunath Das Goswami, he says that, see, actually while I was in meditation, right, while I was chanting, I actually went to Golok Vrindavan. Right? I was associating with Srimati Radharani and I actually cooked sweet rice for her. Right? And I fed Srimati Radharani sweet rice and she fed me double of that. Right? Even if I didn't want it, she made me eat. Right? And that is why I am getting stomachache. So this is actually, it is given that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he is Rati Manjari in Golok Vrindavan, in the eternal service of the Lord. He is Manjari called Rati Manjari. And also, it is mentioned that he is a Prayojan Acharya. So we know about Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan, right? So Sambandha Acharya is Raghunath Das, Sanatana Goswami. Prayojan Acharya is, Abhideya Acharya is Rupa Goswami, and Prayojan Acharya is Raghunath Das Goswami. So Sambandha, why? Because Sri Sanatana Goswami, he actually showed us that Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and our eternal relationship is with him. That is the Sambandha. Abhideya, Rupa Goswami, he showed us the way. He gave us so many books, right? He gave us the literature to understand the Lord. That's the Abhideya. And Prayojana, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, he showed us that the ultimate service is the love of God. There is no other service. Love of God, love of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. That's the ultimate goal of life. So that is why he is called the Prayojanacharya. So today actually we have heard so many things, right? So we have to understand this Panihati Cida Dahi festival that we celebrate. It is actually teaching us so many things. Right? One of the things, can someone tell me what are the things that we learned during that Panihati Cida Dahi festival? What was one thing? Anyone can tell. What is the one thing that we learned? Yes. Yeah, Madaji can say. Yeah. We can approach Krishna only through his devotees. We cannot approach Krishna directly. That is one learning that we had. Again, second learning we should have, that we should always feed all the devotees whenever we get an opportunity, right? And that when we feed the devotees, the bhav should be not to show that we are such a great person that we are feeding the bhav should be that the devotees should be satisfied. So that is some of the learnings that we can take from Sri Panihati Chidadahi festival. Thank you very much, everyone. If you all have any questions, please forgive me once again if I have made any mistakes or if there was something that you could not understand. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
Hare Krishna.
मेरा ये प्रश्न था कि वो आपने बताया कि गुफा में जब करते थे छापों में वो कौन से गोस्वामी?
ये हरिदास ठाकुर, श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर.
आचार्य जो थे संबंध आचार्य, अभिनय आचार्य और प्रेरक आचार्य उनके नाम.
संबंध आचार्य सनातन गोस्वामी, अभिधेय आचार्य रूप गोस्वामी, and प्रयोजन आचार्य रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी. Yes.
Why does person who has one is one? What is the go to
Yeah, so very nice question, Prabhu. So it is important for us to understand that we can approach the. See, again, we have the Shastras, we have Vedas, Puranas, everything that we have. But for us to understand it, it has to be through a person who has already realized. Right? So, for example, even in material education, when you see, right, you even if you might have a PhD, but you should have at that point of time when you are having that PhD, right, you should have a teacher for that, right? Only then you can get the actual how do you say the degree, right? Even in normal schools also, you need to have a teacher, right? Somebody you can somebody who knows it and he can give it to you. You might be able to read all the shastras. That is a very interesting. That is important also. You have to read the shastras too, right? You cannot take anything on the word of anyone, right? You have to read the shastras. But to understand the deeper meaning of that, right, you need to go through a realized person. A person who has read that, he has realized it, understood it, right? Only then you will get that realization. Otherwise, it becomes difficult.
Thank you.
If we have time, I'll just wanted to add one more story, right? So actually, His Holiness Jaipataka Swami Maharaj, right? He actually loved this festival a lot. It's one of the closest to his heart, the Panihati Chidadahi festival. So there is one nice pastime actually of His Holiness Jaipataka Swami Maharaj. So what he used to do, there was a temple, ISKCON temple in Atlanta. Actually, and that Atlanta story, Prabhuji might know. Right? Actually, Maharaj had kept the name of that ISKCON temple as New Panihati. Right? The place itself is called New Panihati. And what he used to do is, he used to himself come. He used to make that prasadam. He used to make that chida dahi. Right? He used to take the poha. He used to mix the curd. And at that point of time, when the Leela had happened, at that time we didn't have much options, right? We had to make it quickly, so the devotees made it like that. Now, but His Holiness Jaipataka Swami Maharaj, he made different varieties of pani, the Sachida Dahi, right? You will have Cida Dahi, you will have a dry fruit Cida Dahi, you will have one is sweet, right? You don't have, it's a non-sweet one also, option is there of Cida Dahi, right? And Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he used to make it by his own hands, right? And not only that, after making it from his own hands, right, he used to put it in a pot, right? And he used to make like names for each of those different items. It would be like Radha Govind Bhog, right? Rasbihari Bhog. Like he used to name each of those parts, right? And he used to himself offer it to the God Nitaiji. And then what used to happen, right? After offering, they used to get these pots outside, and then His Holiness Maharaj, right? He used to explain, right, that okay, this pot, right, what are the ingredients in this Chida Dahi? He used to explain this, right? These are all the items in this Chida Dahi, and then they used to have an auction of that, right? So they used to have auction that His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj used to say, now okay, who would like to buy this, right? So now one person will say one amount, then the next person will say second amount, right? And that donation that used to be collected, that used to go for this temple, the that Atlanta temple, that used to be like used for the whole year, right? So then that used to be a beautiful lila. Even actually Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, even after he had that stroke, it is actually given that he used to still go to that Atlanta temple, and he used to like see, right? He used to oversee. He was not able to do it himself, but he used to oversee. He used to sit there and he used to take, oh, put more dahi in that, put more sugar, right? Mix it properly. And he used to give his own instructions, and he used to still have that festival with great enthusiasm. Right? So such is the greatness of our one of the acharyas of our ISKCON, right? His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Right? His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj ki jai. Okay. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Oh.
Thank you.